like when I got back. All right, I'd like to call the December 12th, 2016 Village Board meeting. Would you please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Trustee Cliff Miklos?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Well, good evening, are we on? Sure. There we go. Good evening, everyone. Look, can we get a roll call, please?
Okay, this evening we'll be starting with Trustee Virgilio.
Here.
Blatzer.
Here.
Chaldekas.
Present.
Miklos.
Here.
Snagowski.
Here.
Stapleton.
Here.
Okay, the consent agenda tonight, everyone here in the room and everyone watching on TV is fairly long. So I got my water. Got a lot of things to read off. I think this is working. So, letter A, we have approval of minutes, November 28th, 2016, Village Board meeting minutes. We have approval of disbursements. We have an ordinance abating the tax heretofore levied for the year 2016 to pay debt service on $2,690,000 general obligation bond, Series 2007, of the Village of Lamont, Cook, DuPage, and Will counties. An ordinance abating tax heretofore levied for the year 2016 to pay debt service on $7 million general obligation bonds, Series 2007A, and $2,215,000, general obligation bonds, Series 2008, of the Village of Lamont, Cook, DuPage, and Will counties. An ordinance abating the tax heretofore levied for the year 2016 to pay debt service on $1,755,000 general obligation bonds, Series 2010, alternate revenue source of the Village of Lamont, Cook, DuPage, and Will counties. An ordinance abating the tax heretofore levied for the year 2016 to pay debt service on $5 million general obligation waterworks and sewerage bonds, alternate revenue source, Series 2010A, and Build American Bonds direct payment of the Village of Lamont, Cook, Will, and DuPage counties. Letter G is an ordinance abating the tax heretofore levied for the year 2016 to pay debt service on $3,420,000 worth of general obligation bonds, Series 2012A, alternate revenue source, and $4,750,000 general obligation bonds, Series 2012B, alternate revenue source of the Village of Lamont, Cook, DuPage, and Will counties. An ordinance abating the tax heretofore levied for the year 2016 to pay debt service on $3,400,000 general obligation bonds, Series 2012C, alternate revenue source of the Village of Lamont, Cook, DuPage, and Will counties. An ordinance abating the tax heretofore levied for the year 2016 to pay debt service on $955,000 general obligation refunding bonds, Series 2014A, alternate revenue source, and $960,000 taxable general obligation refunding bonds, Series 2014B, alternate revenue source of the Village of Lamont, Cook, DuPage, and Will counties. An ordinance abating the tax heretofore levied for the year 2016 to pay debt service on $1,430,000 Special Service Area Number 1, which is Route 83 and Main Street, Special Ad Valorem Tax Bonds, Series 2009 of the Village of Lamont, Cook, DuPage, and Will counties. An ordinance abating the tax heretofore levied for the year 2016 to pay debt service on 5,580,000 general obligation bonds, waterworks and sewerage alternate revenue source, Series 2015A, and 2,690,000 general obligation refunding bonds, alternate revenue source, Series 2015B, and 1,180,000 general obligation refunding bonds, alternate revenue source, Series 2015C of the Village of Lamont, Cook, DuPage, and Will counties. And finally, an ordinance for the levying and assessing of taxes for the Village of Lamont, Cook, Will, and DuPage counties, Illinois, for the current fiscal year commencing May 1st, 2016, and ending on April 30th, 2017. We have another ordinance establishing a street and bridge tax, an ordinance establishing a street lighting tax, an ordinance approving a lease to West Shore Pipeline Company, which is also known as a canal lease. An ordinance amending the Lamont Municipal Code, Title II, Administration and Personnel. A resolution amending the Village of Lamont Personnel Manual, which is our travel policy. A resolution accepting public improvements and releasing the letter of credit for subdivision Wood Glen Number 2. A resolution authorizing a reduction of letter of credit for the Estates of Montefiore subdivision. A resolution accepting a public utility easement at the Kettering subdivision, Lot 253, public utility easement. A resolution authorizing execution of an intergovernmental agreement between the Village of Lamont and Cook County for the provision of environmental health inspectional services. A resolution authorizing the addition of the National Public Pension Fund 457 Deferred Compensation Plan as deferred compensation plan for village employees. A resolution accepting IDOT compliance review number 57 motor fuel tax funds received and dispersed by the Village of Lamont for the period January 1st, 2010 to December 31st, 2015. And finally, the last one, a resolution authorizing transfer of funds to the motor fuel tax MFT fund for the period January 1st, 2010 to December 31st, 2015. Now, before I go for a motion, there was a lot of stuff on the consent agenda, and a lot of it had to do a lot with our tax levy. So I wanted to give George, our village administrator, a chance to really speak about it so everybody understands what we were all voting on here today.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Yeah, just a quick note. The consent agenda consists typically of items that are routine in nature and or they've been discussed at length at committee meetings, and to move the meeting along, they've already been discussed or they are routine, so we place them on the consent agenda. At any time, if there's further discussion needed, you can always request to pull it off the agenda and we can have further discussion. The December board meeting is very taxing on the Mayor Pro Tem today, having to go through the list, but also on staff and the whole organization. But it's also very important. They may be routine, but they're important items. The majority of the items deal with the tax levy and the authorization of our typical taxes. With regard to the tax levy, we had 2 public hearings previously. There is a 2.67% increase in the taxes. Now that is not an increase on the existing taxes. The majority of that increase as part of the levy is due to new growth, new building permits, new development, new modifications to existing homes that feed that levy, and so the majority of it is due to new growth. But the other items that are unique to December are the tax abatements. So typically when the village has a very expensive, maybe long-term capital improvement, whether it be, we had the police station construction, village hall renovation, water and sewer improvements to our system, whether it be new lines, new facilities. The village issues debt for those items because they're typically for long 25, 30-year usefulness at the very least. So we issue debt, and what these abatements mean is that the village is using its own dollars to pay the debt service on those bonds. So there is no additional tax levy. That is why the board in December approves the abatement ordinances for all of these. They will get filed with all 3 counties shortly after today's meeting, so it does not show up on your tax bill. So that is, the village is using its own funds for its debt service, for its own obligations, and that's why you'll see in December all of our bonds are listed here once again. And a couple other items that are fairly routine and mundane to business, but do move business along. And again, I want to thank staff definitely, because this is a very difficult agenda to put out for. I think we had 24 items on the consent agenda, but they're all, while they're routine, they are very important to operating at the village.
Well, thank you, George. Thank you, George. So now I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Motion by trustee Blatzer, seconded by trustee Cliff Miklos. Any questions?
Close, I like that.
How do you pronounce his name?
Clifflos. I like it. Any questions? Anything?
I'd
Roll
like
call
to have you start reading from A.
from me again? You got it, Deb. Roll call?
Okay. Virgilio?
Yes.
Blatzer?
Yes.
Childikas?
Yes.
Miklos?
Yes.
Snagowski?
Yes.
Stapleton?
Yes.
The motion's approved. So now we're going to move on to the mayor's report, and there's 2 public hearings that we're going to start with first, and then we'll move on to audience participation and the mayor's mention. So the first public hearing is for the Village of Lamont, Cook, Will, and DuPage counties. Proposed approval of the Main Street and Archer Avenue redevelopment project area tax increment financing eligibility study and redevelopment plan and project. I need a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Snagowski, seconded by Blatzer. At this time, the public hearing is open, and if anyone would like to make a comment.
We need a voice vote.
Oh, we need a voice vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Now,
Chris will
oh,
go
Chris, you
first.
went, I'm sorry. I'm learning slowly.
This public hearing tonight is for the Main Street Archer potential for the Main Street Archer TIF. This TIF, the properties that are located in this TIF were originally in the Gateway TIF, and we had pulled them out back in the fall of 2016. These are the properties that the village owns and are exempt, and we are going through trying to redevelop the area. So basically, this TIF is, we pulled those properties out, and we're creating a new TIF for those properties, for the exempt properties. We have Jeff from SB Friedman, if anybody has any.
Hey,
If
Jeff.
anybody has any questions regarding the process, this is the next step. This public hearing has been published twice in the local newspaper. We have sent out to the residential areas within 760 feet. We had sent out the notice. We sent out the notice to all our taxing agencies. We have had a board of review, a joint board of review, and they had Jeff, SB Friedman actually made a really nice presentation, and they, and the board agreed that we should create this TIF. So we've gone through the process. This has been a long process. It started in September. This is one of the last steps. The next step would be actually approving the ordinance in January. So I just wanted to give a little bit.
Well, thank you, Chris. Thank you. Anyone? Okay. With none, I need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Snagowski, second by trustee Blatzer. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The public hearing is now closed. The next public hearing is for intergovernmental cooperative planning and boundary agreement between the Village of Lamont and the City of Lockport. I need a motion to open the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion carried by, motion first by trustee Stapleton and second by trustee Blatzer. And we need a motion. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. At this time, the public hearing is open. If anyone would like to comment on it? George, someone want to speak about the agreement?
We can, yeah, it's also on the agenda.
It is on the agenda. Yeah, we can talk about it.
No, but we can talk a little bit about it here right now. It's actually the same boundary line we've had in common with the city of Lockport for the last 19 years. It is obviously coming to an end after 20 years. This is just an extension of that. The only difference on this one is because of the planning that's occurred and the growth between the two communities, we have worked out an agreement as to who will have jurisdiction of 135th Street. It'll be the Village of Lamont at one point, which is going to be east of Smith Road, and the City of Lockport, which will be west of Smith Road. That's the agreement that we've reached. The city of Lockport has already approved theirs as of last week, and we believe staff is recommending approval after this public hearing. Just so the record is clear that this notice was published in a newspaper as of last month and has been displayed for over 15 days in the front here as required by statute. We've met all those requirements.
Can you clarify the comment you made about 135th Street east of Smith and West? That's jurisdiction on the road only, correct?
It's jurisdiction on the road only. That has nothing to do with the properties as far as where they'll be annexed. In fact, we'll have the north side and then Lockport would have the south side of that, depending on other agreements with other municipalities at that point. What we don't want to do is come into a situation where one parcel is annexed and it's maybe 200 feet, 300 feet. By annexing that parcel, if it's adjacent to the road, the community that annexes that parcel is now responsible for that road.
Gotcha.
So there could be situations where you have 300 feet of Lamont, 300 feet of Lockport, 500 feet of Lamont, 500 feet of Lockport, and what are we going to do? We're going to pick up the plows, put them back down? We're not going to do that. So it's a good part of planning. It's not an uncommon thing to do. So the eventual transfer, jurisdictional transfer, will happen once those areas are annexed, if they become annexed in the next 20 years. It's a long way away, but we do believe that the growth is going there.
Great, thank you. Thank you for explaining that. So with no one speaking, I need a motion to close the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by trustee Blasser, second by trustee Snagowski. All those in favor?
Aye.
The public hearing is now closed. So before we get to audience participation, I want to do a quick mayor's mention of some news around town. So I want to thank everyone for who attended the hometown holiday. It was a record-breaking attendance this past Saturday. It was a great event, and it takes a lot of people to make it work. We thank the Lamont Chamber for their participation in bringing in the vendors for the Kris Kringle Market and all their help with the business participants. We also thank our businesses for staying open late, and especially to many of the groups and businesses that participated in the activities. Some of these groups include the Art and Culture Commission members, Community Christian Church Choir, Joe Skopik State Farm Insurance, Learte Evita, Lamont Area Girl Scouts, the Lamont Park District, MB Financial Bank, Smoky Row Antique Shop, the Inn at Smoky Row, and the Nail Inn Academy. We'd also like to thank our local author, Pat Camilleri, who was at Smoky Row Antique Shop for her book signing event. Present at the event were Mayor Reeves, Clerk Charlene Smolin, Trustee Miklos, Trustee Stapleton, and I were out the tree lighting along with Santa, who took time out of his busy schedule to join us in Lamont. Can you imagine he stopped here?
He does.
Special thanks goes out to Fred Bluter and Son Tree Service for donating the 30-foot tree, and our Public Works Department, who got it down there somehow.
And it's straight, Paul.
And it was straight.
Is it flat on one side?
It looks great, Ralph. You guys did a great job. And so did Mr. Bluter and his company. Please thank him for us on that. It takes a lot of effort by our staff to make this successful, and we thank our Public Works Department for all their help, and especially we thank our marketing coordinator, Donna Pacino, who coordinated the entire event and helped tremendously in making it a success. So as a reminder to our residents, we encourage you to go on our website, like I mentioned at our last board meeting, and click on the Stay Informed button on the bottom of the feature bar to sign up to receive important and informational messages from the Village of Lamont. It's important. When things happen, when there's road closures, when there's a dog is found, we send out all those transmittals through that Stay Informed button that's on our Lamont website. So please, please, please utilize that tool. The tool is also very handy. These board meetings are on there. They're streamed live. They're recorded. People can come back and read different things. Our items like issues from the past, whether it be the Palos Park situation or any kind of deal that's happening within our municipality's Lockport agreement that we're signing tonight, it's important to go on and read it. We're a very, very transparent municipality. I deal with a lot of other elected officials in other communities, And I have to say kudos to the team that puts the website together and takes the extra time to present all these items to the public. Also visit our Facebook page as often as we post information regularly on a variety of interesting topics. We will be having an upcoming photo contest beginning after Christmas in which you can submit photos to be voted on. The first place and runner-up will receive a $50 gift card to the Lamont business of their choice. And lastly, this will be our last meeting this month, and Village's offices are closed on December 23rd and 26th, as well as New Year's Day. So we wish you all a very safe and happy holiday season, Merry Christmas, and a happy and safe New Year. So now we're going to go to audience participation. So I will open up the microphone to anyone who would like to speak on any agenda items tonight. Or if you just want to talk to us. Jerry, you're more than welcome to. No? Good evening.
Good evening. My name is Dave Forkel. I live at 629 4th Street in Lamont. And I'd like to speak briefly on the resolution approving the re-subdivision located at 645 4th Street. I believe the trustees have received my email stating my position against approving this resolution. So I don't think we need to get into any of those other details and waste any more time here tonight. But I would just like to say thank you for looking into it further. And before you vote on this resolution, please put yourself in our position and imagine if someone was trying to squeeze property in next to where you live or across the street from your house. Or it's just not consistent, you know, with what we believe is the houses and lots in our area. And so before you decide, just based on what you've heard and read and what other people have said to you, just please imagine that if it was going in next to your house and you know, vote with your conscience and with your heart, you know, that way.
Thank you, Mr. Forkel. Appreciate it. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? No? Okay, so moving on. The clerk's report.
Thank you. I attended the Southwest Municipal Clerks meeting, their December meeting. It was held on December 1st. Anyway, very interesting as usual. We will not be meeting again until March, and that one will be an all-day session. We're not meeting in February because a lot of people have primaries, a lot of the larger municipalities. The first ordinance I have this evening on the list is ordinance O-53-16, and this is authorizing an intergovernmental cooperative planning boundary agreement between the Village of Lamont and the City of Lockport.
I need a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
Made by trustee Stapleton, seconded by trustee Virgilio. Jeff, our counselor, will speak on this one.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. As I said during the public hearing, we kind of know exactly what the boundary line is. There were no other comments made, obviously, at this hearing. By statute, we are now authorized to go ahead and vote on this today if we decide, or continue it to come back. Just as I said earlier, though, the City of Lockport has already approved theirs as of last Wednesday, and should be getting a copy of theirs. It is our recommendation that we approve as is, since especially there's been no comments at all received even prior to today's meeting regarding this.
Thank you, Jeff. Appreciate it. Any question from the board? Nope. I just want to thank you and staff for all the hard work in getting this done. I truly believe an agreement with our boundarying communities is very important to our development of our community. It makes for good planning, strategic planning. It knows where, it allows us to plan where future growth may be coming from. And it stops, I guess I'm going to be completely frank, it stops battles. It stops fights between communities. And Lockport came to the table, which is great. We appreciate their board and Mayor Straight. I know I will advise that we are negotiating with the village of Romeoville and with the village of Homer Glen as we speak. And we're hoping to bring that hopefully within the first or second quarter of next year and have that resolved. And at that point, we currently have a boundary agreement with the Village of Woodridge, which makes it, all three sides are covered right now. And there's still, opportunity for the east side someday in the future. So thanks for that. It's an important move for us to have that boundary agreement. So with that, I need a roll call.
Virgilio,
Yes.
Blatzer,
Yes.
Childekis.
Yes,
Miklos.
Yes.
Snagowski.
Yes.
Stapleton.
Yes.
the motion approved.
The next ordinance, if passed this evening, would be O-54-16, and this is granting variations to the 17.07.01010 of the UDO to allow for reduced lot sizes and interior side yard setbacks at 645 4th Street in Lamont, Illinois.
So I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Made by trustee Stapleton, seconded by trustee Virgilio. Heather Vallone, would you like to speak on this?
So Bill Collins, the contract purchaser of the subject property, is requesting variations from the UDO for 645 4th Street. The applicant is requesting reduced lot width, reduced lot size, and reduced interior setbacks. So the committee of the whole reviewed this application at the November meeting. A lot of discussion was about the interior setbacks. A lot of discussion was really about what setbacks that we'd like to see for the space between the existing homes and the porch new homes. So after the discussion, the applicant actually revised his request for the setbacks to now look for 7 feet against the exterior buildings, so the 2 existing ones, which with a combination of the other building setbacks would be a building separation of 20 to 21 feet. And then he's requesting 10 feet between the new buildings, which would be 20 feet. Thus, it would maintain the 20-foot setbacks, 20-foot building separations that are consistent throughout the rest of the neighborhood. So staff is recommending approval of the modified application tonight.
Thank you, Heather. Board, any questions from anyone?
Jeff, do you need to talk about any,
One of the conditions that was placed by the board was to get the neighboring, the immediate neighbors' approval, or essentially the sign-off, which has been received today by Mr. Cullen for both properties. So I did get by email, I have reviewed them. They are exactly what we've asked them to do.
okay.
I'm going to go out of line here, but Mr. Forkel, did you understand what he was just talking about there on the side yard setbacks with the neighbors to the north of the one lot and to the neighbor of the south?
Yes, I understood that.
Okay.
I'm not sure if I understood what emails he just received.
It was the sign, there was a requirement by us, because we heard this during the COW meeting, and we listened to the residents that showed up. We wanted to make it a win-win for both sides. We wanted to make sure that this developer understood that we were trying to accommodate the residents on the street, along with trying to get a benefit to the street by getting rid of that large
Eyesore.
the eyesore that's sitting out there. And so we approached the developer with the concept of trying to keep the 20-foot setbacks that are common in the area there, especially for infill districts. So the developer accommodated the request by, the 2 houses, the one on the north and the one on the south, have roughly 13 feet side yard setbacks. So we asked him to keep the 2 new houses 10 feet apart, so there's a 20-foot side yard setback, total. And then with his 7 foot on each end, it'll be consistent between those 2 houses there. We understood,
The house on the north is a rental,
right,
so did he get the approval from the renter or from the owner?
You got the
Or both?
approval from the owner
From the owner.
of both properties.
yeah. A bank has it, Mr. Forkel, so that they signed off on it.
It's a real estate holding company.
Company, I'm sorry.
But they did sign off, both parties did sign off. They're the ones that are directly impacted, and both have agreed that this is okay with them, so.
Okay.
We did our due
And
diligence.
those 2 particular parcels, homes, are not going away in the near future either. They're,
They're new.
Absent some unforeseen.
understand, I mean,
They are
it's not like it's in
relatively
tear-down
not
condition.
in tear-down.
Okay.
I just wanted to point that out to you. I know it's tough, but we tried to figure out a way to have it win for both sides on the street there. Jerry, you have a question?
Yeah, Terry Johnson, Fifth Street. On on this agreement, if either one of those houses burn down or get torn down in the tornado or something, do they agree to build at the same spot and keep the same side yards? Or is that up in the air if it happens?
That's, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. We don't know. I mean, you just don't know, and you can't really bind some future owners like that without a covenant and everybody signing off. This was just to determine the immediate impact, and you would think that there's a foundation there already.
Yeah.
Kind of a, maybe might behoove them to put it there, but that's something that they would have, and if not, they would have to come back before us, so.
Anything else? Can we take a roll call?
Virgilio?
Yes.
Latzer?
No.
Childikis?
Yes.
Miklos?
Yes.
Snagowski?
Yes.
Stapleton?
Yes.
With that, the motion is approved. So the next resolution, that's you.
Yes. The next resolution, if passed this evening, would be R-77-16, and this is approving the plat of subdivision for the property located at 645 4th Street in Lamont, Illinois.
I need a motion to approve.
So moved.
Made by trustee
Second.
Miklos, seconded by trustee Virgilio. Heather?
Thank you. So this is just a follow-up piece to the ordinance that was just passed. This is just the final plat indicating the approved setbacks and approved lot sizes.
Thank you. Any questions by the board? Okay, we'll take a roll call.
Virgilio?
Yes.
Latzer?
No.
Childikis?
Yes.
Miklos?
Yes.
Snagowski?
Yes.
Stapleton?
Yes.
Motion approves.
One follow-up on that. Mr. Cullen, what's your time frame now that this has been approved? When's your barn coming down?
The process is I have to do an asbestos inspection on that by the end of the week.
Okay,
And it's a process that company will file a permit with the Cook County Health Department, which I need that permit first to go to. the
understand.
department.
So you're not dragging this out all winter?
Oh, no.
Okay,
No, it's going down quickly.
thank you.
Thanks, Phil. So the motion approved.
Okay. The next resolution would be R-78-16, and this is authorizing the award of contract for bridge repair on Derby Road over Pine Needles Drive.
So I need a motion to approve,
So moved.
made by trustee Miklos,
Second.
by trustee Snagowski. So George, I think this one's yours.
Yes, thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. 6 bids were received on November 3rd for the Derby Road Bridge Repair Project. And the low bidder came in Hurley Mid-Continent Company, which the low bid was in the amount of $258,354.87. This is significantly below the engineer's estimate, probably about 50% below. So we're definitely happy to get that bid. This project was necessary, or is necessary, due to a vehicular accident back in October of 2015, where a vehicle struck the Derby Road Bridge. We are working with our insurance carrier on subrogation efforts. That process can take time, as we all may know. But as staff feels it's time we need to approve this contract, get the project started so that we can get that bridge repaired in time for the summer next year. It'll probably be, due to the weather, it'll be a spring 2017 project. And I don't know, Ralph, if you have any other particulars or?
We'll call a pre-con meeting in March to get a final date on construction. At no time will Derby Road be closed. It will have to go down to one lane because we do have to remove the surface and replace the beam with crane. So they're going to have traffic controls up there, so it will be open for our residents to use Derby Road.
Thanks, Ralph.
The project is, it needs to go through, and what our insurance carrier got us from there.
We'll update the board.
Yeah, yep.
I have a question.
Any questions?
Yeah. Will Pine Needles Drive stay open?
At some point, that will be closed, but we're working with Ruffled Feathers on using the access off of Derby Road.
Okay.
Gated access. So Waste Management will have to use that entrance as well with the residents, but we're working with Ruffled Feathers.
Thank you, Ralph. Anyone else? So can we get a roll call?
Virgilio?
Yes.
Latzer?
Yes.
Childikis?
Yes.
Miklos?
Yes.
Snagowski?
Yes.
Stapleton?
Yes.
Motion approves.
That's all I have this evening.
Thank you, Madam Clerk.
I lucked out.
Okay, so next is Village Corporation Council Deputy Village Administrator report.
Thank you, Mayor Pro Tem. Just briefly, to remind all the businesses in town, the business licenses are due. You should have received 2 separate letters from us, one of which has an application. Please fill out that application, send it back, and we'll get you processed right away. But one other thing that may not be so widely known is that the village does offer a directory of businesses that we can put on our website and have a link to it. All you have to do is just request it. It's part of the form. And if you do, by all means, we'll put it on within 24 hours, 48 hours. And if you have any questions, any business owners have questions, to call Village Hall and ask for me, and I should be able to direct them through it. If not, our finance director, Chris Smith, also knows exactly where all the money goes. So, thank you.
Thanks, Jeff. And I want to add to that because I received about 4 or 5 phone calls this week from local businesses. You know, the form has repetitive information from the years past on it, and everybody asks, why should I fill it out? You should keep track of that. But it's important for us to force you to think about that question, because if you've changed your alarm system or your landlord has changed their water protection services, you need to know that, and we need to know that as a village, so when something, if something, God forbid, ever happened, we have it all documented and we can report it into the fire station or to the police department. So that's why we ask over and over again. I know it seems redundant and painful to fill it out. We will eventually, from what I've been told, become electronic here, and that data will be saved, and you can either delete it or add it on at a future date. So, you got it, Jeff. Anything from our village administrator?
One quick item, Mayor Pro Tem. The village is still looking for input regarding electronic recycling services that the village can provide through waste management. You know, there's a survey on our website currently that is going to expire on Friday. We are looking for information. The program is an attractive one, but it does include an additional cost of $1.25 per month on everyone's bill to have a true take-all electronic recycling program. So we do want to get your input before we bring it back to the board and talk about it in January at a committee meeting. So please go to our website and fill out that survey. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, George. So I'm going to add my 2 cents on that one, too. So what George was just speaking about is, many of you witnessed it when you drive down the street during garbage day. You'll see a TV out there, a laptop, and 2 days later, it's still sitting out there because the garbage service doesn't pick it up. And what we're proposing is an additional add-on to our current bill to be able to request a special bag from Waste Management to be delivered to your house. Is that correct, of how it works? Yeah. You will package your product in that bag, and then Waste Management will come and remove it. So this way we don't have TVs sitting out with the big CRT tubes, and God knows we know all the kids like to run down the street in the middle of the night, and those things are sitting out there, and they can have a lot of fun, because I've seen it happen. So it's important that people go on to the website and give us their opinion on this. It's an important feature that we'd like to see what everybody thinks.
And just one clarification, we think of electronic recycling, but it's really
There's more to it, yeah.
More to it. It's a, I should have mentioned, there's paint, light bulbs, batteries, all the household waste that typically you would, 2 times a year we offer a great program at our metro station for the majority of these items. This would be year-round, where you make a call to Waste Management, and then they deliver a bag, and then you set up a reservation for them to pick it up. So looking for input, and we will discuss it again with the board in January.
Yep.
Except that they're no longer accepting those electronic devices. It's getting harder and harder to get rid of them. We can still have our features for the paint and those things, but electronics, the places to take them are few and far between, and at a much higher cost, which means you'd have to get it there also and deliver it there. So this is,
It's actually a great deal.
we think it's really important to take a look at it.
Take a look at it. So for board reports, we have none tonight, unless anyone's changed their mind.
I did.
Trustee
I just have a quick
Glatzer.
comment. I just wanted to thank our Public Works Department. We had snow over the weekend, and as usual, they were out there clearing the streets and making them passable, and we always get compliments on how well the roads look. And I thought maybe, Ralph, you could just remind the community members again about not shoveling their snow into the street.
Thank you, Trustee Blatzer. This is a perfect example of why not to do it. we have a cold snap coming at the end of this week. When you put the snow in the street, it freezes, it creates a safety hazard. You're gonna be running it over with your car, time and time again, pulling in, backing out. So do not put it in the street, stack it up in the parkway. I mean, it happens a lot, and I don't think we're gonna get away from it, but when it freezes like that, it's hard for us to get it up with the plow, or anything else. So just, it's important not to put it in the street, keep it in the parkways, and everybody will be happy.
Yes, I was driving down the street and you were done plowing because it wasn't snowing and there was snow in the street because the resident had pushed it there. And it will not get plowed when there's no, the trucks aren't running and now it's frozen and people were veering around it. So it just, provides a safety hazard too because people are trying to avoid it, which means they're going into oncoming traffic lanes, so. Thank you.
So for staff reports tonight, our chief, Mark Mayton, you have something?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem. I won't be as long as the consent agenda.
Nice.
I do have holiday tips.
Is this the tip of the month or just holiday tips?
Special edition.
5 tips of the month.
Very nice.
First, please don't advertise your holiday plans in social media. 4 to 5 of the burglars that have been arrested for burglary and interviewed on this topic say that they use social networks to find, to find out when people were not home. So don't let your social media behavior put your home at risk while you're away. Second, add home security devices to your holiday gift wish list. Sensor triggered lighting, motion activated webcams, a smartphone, home security. They're all technologies that have become much more affordable recently, and you could put some devices that you can monitor 24 hours a day from your smartphone inside your house for not that much money. Close the curtains in the evening. Open blinds may allow thieves to check out the layout of your home and view your belongings, especially when it's light out and it's dark outside. They can see it for a good distance out. And holiday gifts should never be visible through windows and doors of your home. Don't leave ladders up after decorating. Ladders can help a burglar gain access to your home. And last, as I've talked about before, is please lock your doors in the car and house.
Ow.
Many of our communities become area targets for traveling burglary crews that prey on communities. They almost exclusively go into cars that are not locked and steal items from them, sometimes steal the cars with their keys in them. So please take your keys in, lock your doors, and both your car and your house. And that's all I have.
Thanks, Chief. Thanks for those important tips. So do we have any unfinished business tonight? Any new business to talk about? Okay. So executive session discussion under Chapter 5 ILCS?
No executive session, Mr. Mayor Pro Tem.
No executive session. So with no executive session, I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Trustee Blatzer, seconded by Trustee Stapleton. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Motion approves. And I want to wish everyone, again, we stated at the very beginning, a very Merry Christmas and a happy and safe New Year. Thank you. Merry Christmas, Jerry. Sorry.
Merry Christmas, Karen.